Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. Happy Friday. Couple of things. One, you guys are finally going to get the most unnecessary boss monster in any deck, the Garnecia Elefantis. This card was literally like only printed in Metal Raiders. So unfortunately, this took a little bit to come in, but again, did get this off TCG Player, relatively quick shipping. And they came in, they were beautiful. So this is going to be fun build. But it's more or less like dragging and dropping him in as a boss monster. Now, I also have another build where I'm still kind of tweaking the last couple of ratios. But it's actually more suited towards Garnecia Elefantis, not just being in the deck, but actually being more of a focus. So if you guys want that, and I'm sure that you guys do, we will drop that one next week. Just this way, it's not overly saturated with crazy elephant goodness. And second, we have a pre-taped box opening from the new Magnificent Mavens. Myself and Celestial Duelist, we ended up with our friend George over. He came over to display boxes, and we got to rip that open. So again, that's going to be a just like a little bit later today. So enjoy today. Let's get on with the deck. So the deck is the Garnecia for hire. And again, it's kind of my little play on the words. Obviously, it's going to be a for hire build featuring Garnecia Elefantis. But at the same time, we have a way to actually tech him and use him skillfully. So I do hope you guys enjoy this. So the first thing we're going to need to do is 3 copies of Garnecia Elefantis. And the stats you need to be aware of here are going to be 2400 attack, Beast Warrior, and 7 stars, okay? Those 3 things, as well as being a normal monster card, give this thing all the advantages to being the boss or the unofficial for hire in today's deck. Next up, we are going to be boarding in 3 copies of Beat. Again, he is the Bladesman for hire. During the main phase, you can special summon 1 for hire monster from the hand, except same name. If a monster for hire is special summoned to the field while you control this, except the damage step, you may add 1 for hire from deck to hand with a different name. Each of these effects is once per turn. So again, these guys are going to specialize in summoning additional cards from the hand and trying to rapidly go into a bunch of different names real quick. So again, 3 Beat. He's just the best. He's the searcher. We are going to be playing 2 copies of Bravo. This reptile says the same thing. You can special summon a different name from the hand once per turn. And if a monster is special summoned while this is already on the field, then you can have all monsters that are for hires on the field gain 500 attack and defense until the end of the turn. So he does like a little field group increase or pump. 2 copies Donpa, the marksman for hire. This is one of our 2 beasts. 2-star. During the main phase, you can special summon like usual. Against, it has to be a different name, and then when 1 is special summoned, while you control this, you can target 1 face-up card on the field to destroy. Again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. But face-up card does mean that it could be spell, trap, monster, pendulum scales, whatever you like. Or if for some reason you need to get rid of a card of your own in order to continue a strategy, boom, there you go. We are going to board in 1 copy of Dinah. This is going to be one of our Beast Warriors. Same things. No, this one's different. Sorry. If this isn't a special summon, you can banish cards from the opponent's graveyard up to the number of for hires that you control with different names. Use this effect only once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters for hire for attacks except for this one. So again, he's just going to go ahead and do some heavy defense for the rest of the team. Philo. Probably one of my favorites. During the main phase, you can special summon a for hire from the hand with a different name. If a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this, you can target 1 monster that is for hire in the graveyard, special summon that card back in defense, place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. And again, each of these effects is once per turn. So again, this one's more of like a double summoning, which is also very cool, especially mid to late game. This could be a Link 3 all on its own, or, other plays. Double copies of Helmer. During the main phase, you can special summon again 1 for hire from the hand with a different name. And if one is special summoned to the field while you control this monster, you can discard a card that is for hire to draw 1 card. Each of these effects is once per turn. We are going to run 3 copies of our boy Raphael, the champion for hire. Again, I just like saying that. Again, considerably one of the bosses. This guy's going to be at 2,800. I do believe this is the strongest main deck monster card. So again, this is pretty cool. If special summoned, you may excavate the top of your deck equal to the number of for hire controlled with different names, except himself. And if you do, add 1 copy to, or add 1 of those cards to your hand. Shuffle the remainder back into the deck. When your opponent activates a monster's effect, as a quick effect, discard 1 card that is a for hire to negate the activation. Each of these effects is once per turn. And again, it's not when it's a monster they control. It's a monster effect. So Raphael can actually do battle with hand traps to some extent here. Again, he sort of opens himself up to what is a Ghost Ogre, again, Effect Veiler and stuff like that. But essentially, he can chase down some of those effects for you. 2 copies Recon. Again, during the main phase, special summon another name from hand. And if one is special summoned to the field while you control this, target 1 set card on the field to destroy that. So again, this is just going to be the flip reverse of, what was that? It was Donpa, I believe. Next 2, we're going to be using 3 copies Seal. Again, this is very monster heavy build. Seal during the main phase. Again, special summon 1 from hand, different name. And when one is special summoned to field while controlled, you can target 1 monster for hire in the graveyard to return to your hand. And then the last one we're going to play is Wiz the Sage for hire. Now, I considered not playing this one until I remembered, it's level 7. And this does allow us to make another play later, which is awesome. This is special summoned. You gain 500 life per for hire that you control with different names, excluding Wiz. While your opponent activates a spell, trap, or effect. As a quick effect, we may discard 1 for hire card, negate activation if we do. This one isn't one of those destroy effects, so not exactly sure. I guess like a field spell, like my Hidden City, I would play it. My opponent would activate Wiz. I would not get my search, but I would not lose my field spell. So again, I was a little iffy on this. Like for normal spell cards and stuff, this is going to be fine. Again, for missing monster effects, this is going to be fine. But really, I wanted to keep this one in here for the level 7. And then again, each of these effects is a hard once per turn. So guys, just real quick, those are the monsters, plenty of them. Go ahead, maybe pause the video or do a screenshot. This way you guys can go ahead and make the list as you're going along. And again, I kind of tried to keep all the names, at least one of the names visible per. And then just give me a second, we'll be back with the spell traps. All right, now to start off the spell traps, we're going to start with one everybody knows. We are going to play the single Harpy's Feather Duster. Again, we want to take out that back row as soon as we can. We're also going to be playing 3 copies of the Mayhem for hire. What this will allow us to do is target for hire in our discard, special summon in defense. This is a once per turn monster reborn for this deck. And while we're saying those words, play a monster reborn as well. If you guys do want to free up a spot, you guys may choose to toss this and maybe add Called by the Grave. Could be good. I do only have the room for the single Raigeki this time around. Again, monster version of the Harpy's Feather Duster. And how are we going to tech Garnecia Elefantis and make this guy a super threat? We're going to dig into some Blue Eyes / Dark Magician support. We're going to be running 3 copies of the quick play spell card Successor Soul. So for those of you who are unaware of this card maybe at this time, tribute 1 effect monster. Again, that's like all of the for hires. Then target 1 effect monster the opponent controls, which is basically every opponent's monster ever. Send that card to the discard pile and then special summon a level 7 or higher normal from hand or deck. Can only activate 1 of these per turn. You can only attack with 1 monster during the turn you activate this. Again, guys, during playtesting, it's a quick play. I managed to get this off on the opponent's turn, boarding Garnecia Elefantis out of my deck, and just absolutely devastating a handful of plays. So again, this was meant to be more of a casual treat. As you can tell, there was no Tri-Brigades. There are no Tri-Brigades. mostly because I just don't own a lot or enough to really pull it off. So we went with this kind of route here. And then the traps are going to be pretty simple. I'm going to be playing 3 copies of Solemn Strike because it's one of my favorite things. Again, you can pay 1,500 life points to either negate and destroy monsters being special summoned, or a monster effect activation. And then, of course, since it is the for hires, there can be only one. There is going to be some crossover again. There are a couple Beast Warriors because of Garnecia Elefantis. We do have a couple of 2-star beasts between Donpa and what was it, Recon. So there is some slight crossover, but we did try to minimize that. So this is really more effective at messing with the opponents. And again, going into like game 2 and 3, that's something that you could absolutely side out, and you guys could switch up the strategy however it is that you like. Again, one more time, get the screenshot, maybe pause, take the notes, and I'll be back with the extra deck, and then we'll let you guys out of here. So just one more second. All right, now moving into the extra deck, I want to start with the links. And again, normally I don't do this. Normally I go like Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, then links. But as far as this deck goes, I really do think that like we'll get the best benefit if we do this way. So again, since we are basically playing a for hire deck that just happens to have Garnecia Elefantis in it, we do have the versatility and the utility that a for hire deck would have for us. This means that Apollousa, but with a goddess, is actually very easy to play and very easy to actually max out with 4 different names so that we can get the maximum, 800 per, so that's 3,200 points on a max stat with 4 negates. So again, that's really cool. It's really topical. Big shout out to Celestial for the next card. She pulled this out of Mavens for me. Copy Blackluster Soldier of Chaos, guys. With this being a fresh re-release, I do not feel bad about this. It is no longer an $80 card. This one was like $6 the day that I checked it. This may have gone down. This may have gone up a little bit. I doubt that it went up. It should have went down just because it's here. So it's been a minute since I talked about this card because it's been a minute since I owned it. Let's go over the effect one more time. So the recipe is any 3 monsters with different names. The bonus is if it's link summoned with a level 7 or higher monster or monsters as material, then the opponent can no longer target it with card effects and it may not be destroyed by the opponent's card effects, which means they have to kill this card by battle and battle only. Again, I do think that it's like Dragoon. I'm pretty sure you can just kaiju this guy off the field. So if you're trying to fight this in your locals, your tournament scene, try some kaijus. It should work out just fine. But when this card destroys monsters by battle, after it was given the level 7 bit, or maybe that's always, but when it destroys a monster by battle, you can activate one of the following. It's either a permanent 1,500 point gain. It'll get a second attack during the next battle phase. So the battle phase of your next turn. Because I guess there was 1 card or 2 cards that actually do force multiple battle phases in a like single turn. Sorry for the stumbles. Just really excited to have this. And then the last effect would be to banish 1 card on the field. So again, sort of transcending what the Blackluster Soldiers should be able to do, and just making it just look better. Next up, Boral Sword. You guys know why Boral Sword is good. I just keep trying to redo this because I want you guys to be able to take that screenshot perfectly. Next up is going to be 2 copies of Folgo, the Justice for Hire. So it's 3 monsters, different types. Cannot be used as link material itself. If this is link summoned, you can special summon a monster with for hire with a different type from the 3 used for the link summon from the deck in defense. If a card or cards your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can draw 1 card. Then, if you control 3 or more for hires with different names, you can actually draw an additional 2 cards. So this could give you enough to draw 3. You can only use each of these effects once per turn. And again, that's just to keep this card fair. I do like 2. 2 seems to be working out for me right now. So I'm not going to mess with it. IP Masquerena at 1. Nightmare Cerberus at 1. Nightmare Phoenix at 1. Unicorn at 1. Again, Folgo is a level 1. So we do need to talk about the Link Karibo. Again, it's the only level 1 in the deck. You're probably not going to play this too often. Is what it is. If you guys would rather play Relinquished Anima, go for it. If you just want to drop it, we got some good picks for you. Next up, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, and that'll finish out our links. The next one is our first of our Xyz monsters. I want to talk about Allardyce Absolute Dragon. So again, we are able to make rank 7s, and again, I wanted to go a little more casual, a little more fun, because guys, Big Eye and Mega Phantom Beasts Dracosac are still good rank 7s, but this was more fun. When any player's monster declares an attack, detach material, negate the attack, then you can special summon an Allardyce from the hand or discard. That's not going to work in our build. If this Xyz summoned card is sent to the graveyard, you may special summon one Allardyce from the extra deck, except same name. Each of these effects is once per turn. And real quick, what are we going to summon? We're going to summon the Allardyce Vortex Dragon. Again, we do not have to worry about the recipe. Instead, when this is special summoned, we can target an opponent's face-up attack position monster card and bounce that to the hand. Let's see. When a spell trap or another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, shuffle one face-up pendulum from the extra deck into the deck. Okay, so we won't be able to get that last bit, but it is worth noting. You will get the summon, you will get the bounce, you will get a 28 or 2,500 point monster. And again, if you're going into other links and there can be only one is on the field, this also helps you mitigate the fact that you would have already had a dragon on the field, because this effect won't resolve until this is already in the discard and the other card is already summoned. So that's fun. And then the other 7 I chose, again, because I didn't want to choose anything too competitive, I went with a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon for fun. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz material. While it has material, every time the opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 damage to them upon resolution. And then once per turn, either player's turn, you detach material, target a Red Eyes normal card to summon. Again, we're not going to get that. We're looking to literally just burn the opponent. And again, if we have a nice big turn of attacks, this is a good way to end the turn to limit how much interaction your opponent's going to have. And it was really funny playing up against my Mermail deck that we had during playtest. Not Mermail, jeez, Marincest, the other water monsters, the Cyberse ones, because the opponent would try to do like 10 things in a turn, and then, 10 times 500 is 5,000 damage, and that is a crazy thing to have to try to come back from. And again, just a play that you could do if there were some 2s, which we do have 2 different monsters at 2. There's always the option that you may have been able to play the Sky Cavalry Centuria. It's just 2 level 2s. Cannot be destroyed by battle while it has Xyz material. At the end of the damage step of the battle of the monster, detach material from it. Return the monster from the field to the hand. So again, pretty awesome. Just a good card. But again, you guys might trade out these 4 cards and the Link Karibo. And again, that's Big Eye, that's Dracosac. You might still go with these 2. So Bing Bang. And then the additional one could just be like another really good link. You guys could put in an access code talker. I mean, really, the world's your oyster, guys. Try to enjoy this deck. And then again, next week, I want to build a more focused deck where Garnecia Elefantis doesn't just take a guest starring role. I want it to be the focus. I want it to be the crown jewel of the deck, as it were. And I do think that that's going to be something worth seeing. So guys, do me a favor. If you guys enjoy this, support the channel, please. So many of you have already made the decision to make the likes, the comments, and the subscriptions happen. And seriously, we go over the comments most every other night. We think it's great. We love you guys as a community. I don't think I'd rather be doing anything else right now. Outside of my real career. I mean, this is my second career. This is my nightlife. But guys, seriously, thank you for everything. I hope to keep putting out good stuff. And again, today and tomorrow are going to be the last days that you guys can vote. Upon filming this, because I did film this a bit late, I already have 1 vote to see different decks for the Earthbound Immortals. So it looks like I will be placing them in 7 different decks. I will not be building the 7 decks they were featured in the show. So keep that in mind. I do hope that it doesn't disappoint. But I wanted to try playing them in a new way. 7 different ways. Because challenges, But seriously, guys, thank you for everything. I do hope that you guys have been enjoying this. I hope that you guys continue to make the choice to enjoy this. And do me just one favor tonight, today, this afternoon. I don't know, whatever time it is that you're watching this. Go out and try to make today the best that it can be. Go do all of the things that you enjoy and try to put aside at least an hour for yourself, all right? Self-care is very important. I don't think enough people do it. I don't always do it. And it's really a shame, guys. I really want you guys to be safe. I really want you guys to be happy. And I really want you guys to enjoy this card game that we all enjoy. So go do the things. I'm going to go do the things. I got to get back to work. I got to make some more decks. And guys, it's almost the weekend. So see you later. Peace.